I was only just reminded of this, and I want to give you an example of how I know when it's truly God. This isn't, something to test the spirits or something like that. This is just for me telling you why I know when God has really spoken to me. I've gone through a really hard time because I'm married to an unsaved wife. And it makes things difficult. She really has a problem with what I believe. C'est la vie. So during this lockdown, near the beginning of last year, it all kind of blew up, and I've been living sort of separate and together, depending on what mood things are in. And I've gone back to my place, and she hasn't got in touch for a while, which isn't unusual, but in this occasion, it doesn't feel good. And it was a Sunday night. I hadn't had work for a long time, and I'd got a call for to do work the next day, a job for a week or so. Now, this would involve me getting in a van at probably 6 o'clock in the morning and driving for about 2.5 hours with somebody that I don't know. Some just working Joe kind of guy that'll be sat beside in this van and going to this job to do whatever. I think we were doing up some kind of changing rooms or something. So this is it. It's Sunday night. My wife hasn't spoken to me for a bit. That's not unusual because we'd fallen out. However, on this Sunday night, I finally spoke to her because there was something didn't feel right. She says to me on the phone, "It's over." Right. I kind of hang up and all that. And I'm thinking, because she's never done that before. And I'm thinking, it's over. I'm the kind of person that, it's not, I know that this is going to really hurt, but I hadn't quite gone there yet. I'm in shock. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have to sit in a van for 2 hours tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, waking up to the fact my wife has left me. And I'm thinking, how am I going to do it? I mean, all apart from the fact that my wife's left me, and I'm just trying to process the information. You understand, it's been a very volatile relationship. But there's never been this before. She'd never left me, said it's over, and I'm thinking, how am I going to do this tomorrow? I knew that when it was at night, and it was almost like, even though it was such a big thing, I just wasn't letting it sink in yet because I knew it was going to hurt so much. It's like I was keeping it back, and I was thinking, when I get up tomorrow, I'm going to be waking up to, one of the worst days. Anyway, before I wake up, so let's say I have to get up at 5. About 4 o'clock, I'm dreaming. In this dream, I'm in a kind of waiting room. So this is like last year, yeah? In a dream, I'm a kind of waiting room. I'm just sat there. I'm very comfortable. I'm just waiting. and the door opens. Now, somebody's opened the door, but I can't see them. And they say, come on, hurry up. Almost like they're saying, what are you, you know, like I've kind of like I've got too comfortable, and they're saying, come on, let's go, let's go. And I walk through this door, and it's almost like the sense is like it's an enormous, brand new factory floor. I mean, gigantic, colossal, huge amounts of machinery in it, all ready to go. Or like one of those, like a huge news press, with all the wheels and the things ready to run. But the feeling is also like, like when you have, they're on the campaign trail, and the Democrats or the Republicans or whoever have got this whole kind of um, uh, industry that's working on their behalf. Well, it's like that's the feeling, and I'm in this place, and this voice is saying, "Come on, let's go. We're off. It's like he's saying, this is it. We're ready." And basically, the impression is he's saying, "This is all for you. This is all for you. All of this has been for you, and this is," like he's saying, and it's like almost like clap the hands together. Come on, hurry up, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I'm getting this feeling like I'm ready for this, but it's a really big thing. It feels good. It feels amazing in a way. But the impression is everything has been done to there's been a lot of investment in you. We're ready. It was like a huge amount of work has gone into this thing I'm about to start doing, and I feel really primed for it. It's a really good feeling. The nearest thing I could imagine is if when I was back in the world, if you'd spent a long time preparing and rehearsing and priming yourself for the big break in a movie or making records or something, or being on stage, and it happens and you're absolutely in the right place at the right time and it all comes together. But this is a God thing, I'm in this dream. It's about something about God. Then it switches, and suddenly I hear a voice say my wife's name, and he says, she is Laodicea. The church in Revelation. He says, your wife is Laodicea. Just that. Just tells me that. Then I hear a voice, like a physical voice, like when you're sleep, just about to wake up, and it says pang. P-A-N-G. The word for a birth pain in the King James. I think they use the word pang. Pang. A birth pain, a contraction. It just says pang in my ear. And then it says pang. And I'm kind of, what? And then it goes pang, loud, like that. And I wake up. Now, I wake up to a physical person, as in, that's what it's like. It's like someone physically has literally woke me up with that name. It's physical. And I go, what? Now, I've mentioned this before, it's only happened to me twice. But when I wake up, I've got so much God on me that I'm totally confused about where I'm at. I'm thinking, oh, I've got to get ready for work. What was all that? And I'm trying to process it. And I'm thinking, my wife's just left me. But I had so much God on me that I couldn't connect with the pain of my wife having left me. That I get up and I've got to get in this. I just couldn't get a hold of it. And I just couldn't it was like the glory was just too strong. It was like I was feeling that too much to I, I just couldn't relate to the wife part that she'd left me. I was too taken on by, I was too overcome by this feeling of this amazing, I'd been with God. And I get picked up, when I got picked up to go to work, and this doesn't happen every day, but in minutes, I'm giving this guy my whole testimony. I've got onto it. It's just come up. I've got onto it. I must have God all over me. I must have the Holy Spirit, or, it must be. I'm giving the guy the whole testimony, and he's listening to it, and he's fascinated. Then, coming back, I'm giving him the gospel the whole way back, 2.5 hours, just like no problem. He's just receiving the whole thing. In fact, when I gave him the gospel and I told him the whole thing, Jesus, hell, everything, he looked at me and he went, in a accent from down here, "You are blowing my mind." So I come back and I come into my house and I sit down and it just hits me. I'm just crying my eyes out because my wife's left me. Now, to the point of the video, that's how you know it's God. That's how I knew God was speaking to me. Well, what was God saying to me? He was saying, your ministry's begun. That's kind of working itself out. That's something that, it's just going to just have to kind of become more apparent. He said He said my wife was Laodicea. I know what that means because I'm not going to go into it. My ministry, apart from anything else, I'm dealing with a lukewarm church. And in a sense, I'm married to the lukewarm church. You say I am rich and increased with goods and in need of nothing. And that's kind of, that's the way he's dealt with, that's the way it's been. I'm trying to turn around the lukewarm church, and I'm trying to turn around my wife. But the third part, the pang, I knew that he was saying this COVID is the first pang, the first birth pain. I don't know if it's the first seal, but it's the first birth pain. And I know it's the first birth pain because it's the whole world is having a contraction. And when the whole world is having a contraction, the whole world is about to give birth to the new world. That's the whole symbolism. That's the whole thing. The earth is in labour to be delivered of the man-child who's going to rule and reign. That's what it is. So he emphasised 3 pangs. The next one after this is going to be bigger. And then one after that is going to be much bigger. I don't know what the third one's going to be, whether that's the Antichrist, whether that's just lead up things to the beginning of the seals being opened. I don't know. But I know it's God. And I know that I was having a visitation. I was having a real thing. Because as I say, I maybe don't sound it, but I have to, I can't tell you my life, my personal life, I've had to throw myself on the bonfire, for my life, for my private life, for my life, my marriage, my family. I've had to make a lot of sacrifices because of what God wants, because of His conditions. That should have been the most painful morning for me. That should have been like big time, seriously. I know maybe some of you don't relate to me, but what I'm saying, but you see, it was late at night when it happened, and I knew that it was going to be in the morning that I was going to suddenly be the drop would happen, but it didn't. God used the whole thing. He's in control of it all. He has it all in his hands. Okay, bless you.